Hello, and thank you for joining me for another episode of the Finish More Music podcast. We are fast approaching the 200 mark, which is super exciting. And I just want to kick things off by saying a huge thank you for listening, for supporting the show, for being here with me. It means the absolute world. I really appreciate you. And if you've reached out and we've had a conversation on Instagram, on the DMs as well, I've learned so much from speaking to people. We've had some real deep dives into some of the topics that we discuss on the podcast. So it's been absolutely amazing. Thank you very much. And before we kick this episode off, I've got some exciting news as well. If you haven't seen it already, the free online workshop that I run once per year is fast approaching. It's coming on the 21st of this month, the Finish More Music Blueprint. Now, this is completely free. There are no strings attached. I've had people reaching out in the past who've done it and said, I thought it was too good to be true. I almost didn't sign up, or people who missed out and then saw the results people were getting or the buzz around it and said, can I join now? And it had passed because we only run it for a short period of time. So it is completely free. And by the end of the workshop, you will walk away with a proven creative process for finishing every track you start, and importantly, consistently seeing the quality of your productions rise. The whole deal being that we want you to be able to quickly start closing that gap between the music that you're writing now and the quality of music that you hear released on the labels that you love, by the artists that you love. So it's a 3-part video workshop. 20-minute training blocks is the way that I would think about it, and it comes with workbooks, roadmaps, process maps for you to download. And between each episode, I also deliver live training sessions. These are meaty sessions. They run often for a couple of hours, very interactive, designed so that you take everything you learn and you put it into practice. Do the thing and have the power. It is not just a passive experience where you sit there taking on yet more stuff, more overwhelm, more content. You actually get stuck in, you make progress on your music during the workshop. Now, one more thing I want to say about it, because this is really important. It does not matter if you've been struggling to write music for years. If you're someone who suffers from procrastination, perfectionism, you find yourself overthinking everything, lots of false starts in the past, maybe as a result of that you're full of self-doubt, frustration about your music, wondering, will I ever be able to do it? We've had thousands and thousands of people go through this workshop, thousands of struggling producers, and we've seen people who finish 3, sometimes 4 tracks in the process of the just over a week that we run it for. People who hadn't finished music before at all. They've been really struggling. So you're not alone. It's part of what the workshop is all about, helping you no matter where you're at with your music to get the results that you want. It's something I absolutely love doing. Getting to have that impact on so many people lights me up. Helping people realise the creative ideas they've got in their head, contributing to people's success. It is a complete piece of training, okay, from start to finish that gets you results, and it does run for over a week. And because of that, because there's so much value that we deliver in that period of time, as much as I love doing this, I'm only able to do it once per year. It's the only time I can commit outside of what I do inside of Finish More Music and the main community. So if you're interested in it, finishmoremusic.com/workshop. It kicks off on the 21st of April, but we're doing something different this year because we always like to expand and try new things. So I've actually added a free Facebook group, which is open right now. So you can literally join right now. So it's finishmoremusic.com/workshop. Books your place on the workshop and you'll get all the links to join the free Facebook group. There are going to be challenges in there for you to help you expand your creative thinking, level up your music production skills. You'll get support, coaching, answers to your questions, and it's ready for you right now. So jump in. So there we go. There's the news. Now, what are we talking about in this episode? Well, in this episode, we're going to be talking about the importance of showing up to write every day. And I'm going to be giving you a technique that I've found to be tremendously beneficial to myself, to my members, something that I work with on my team here at FMM as well. And it's going to help you to lock in that habit of writing every single day and ensure that you have this additional desire and motivation to never miss a day. So great quote for you to write down. Successful people are simply people with successful habits. Brian Tracy quote, successful people are just people with successful habits. And John Dryden, 17th century poet, had this little gem. You know, I love a quote. We first make our habits, then our habits make us. So what are these guys talking about? Well, our habits become who we are. Our habits are part of our being. And our being and how we behave dictates the results we get. And that must make sense. The world's best music producers have all built a habit of writing and showing up. That's what led them to becoming great music producers, and great music producers write great music that gets signed to great labels and so on and so forth. That must be clear. Even our man Aristotle, on the ones and twos, dropping the big bangers at the raves. He always the creator of such amazing little quotes that are so impactful. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. I say that again because I think this is perhaps my favourite of the quotes. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. Aristotle. How are you supposed to release music on the big established labels you love, or build a career as a DJ, or write the music that you know you have the potential to write? You can hear it in your head. How are you supposed to do that if you are not excellent at writing music? We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. And one of the things I noticed with so many struggling producers is they try to will their success into existence. But you cannot will your success into existence. You can't read your success into existence. You can't watch your success into existence. Collecting gear won't bring your success into existence. You have to do the thing to have the power. Do the thing, have the power. Now, of course, what you do in your habit, that's to say the creative process that you follow, has to be a process that empowers you to consistently finish music. If you always do what you always did, you'll always get what you always got. So if what you have been doing when you do manage to sit down and write music has led you to, you know, the classic hard drive full of unfinished loops and experiments and kidding yourself that you're making progress, well, if you just do more of that again and you just show up every day and do that, it's just going to lead to even more unfinished loops and bits and pieces and half thought out ideas, right? So it's super important. Make sure that what you are doing every day gets you results, and double down on it. Double down on making that thing a habit. So follow a creative process that gets you finishing, that builds your skills as a music producer, that builds your creative confidence, and ultimately gets you shipping your music out of the door, builds that confidence to start sending it to the labels. Because how are you going to get signed if you never send your music out? So the big question that we're looking at in this episode then is, how do you maintain that habit? Because I'm absolutely sure you've been in this place. We all have. Maybe you kicked off a habit of meditation and that sort of petered out at some point, or something interrupted you. Something came up in your life and your attention went away from it and you just never quite got back round to it, even though you know how important it is. Maybe that's exercise, going to the gym, getting out for a run. Maybe it's nutrition, keeping to eating a healthy meal plan. Maybe it's the morning routine, getting up early, doing your morning routine. I've spoken at length about how important that is. The morning is the rudder for your day. Get the morning right and the rest of the day is so much more likely to go your way. Maybe it's music writing time. It's kind of on and off, on and off. So the question is, how do we actually start and then maintain a habit? Now, there are an absolute bunch of tools you can learn in this area, but I want to share with you one that has been so powerful inside of Finish More Music. It's one I use myself. As I mentioned, it's something that I share with my team as well, to get everybody really locked in to the things that breed success, the way of being, the habits that breed success for them. So this particular strategy is called the Don't Break the Chain strategy, and it was a phrase or a term that was coined by the comic Jerry Seinfeld when he was asked what his secret was to his mastery around the art of being a comic, mastering the art of comedy, let's say, he was asked this question by a rising comedian, Brad Isaac, and this is what he said. He said, the way to be a better comic was to create better jokes, and the way to create better jokes was to write every day. Sound familiar? So he told Brad, get a big wall calendar that is an entire year on one page and hang it on a prominent wall, somewhere you could see it every single day. And then the next step was to get a big red magic marker, and he said that for each day that you do your task of writing, you get to put a big red cross on that day, on the calendar, right? That's sitting on the wall where you can see it. Then after a few days, you'll have a chain. Just keep at it and the chain will grow longer every day. You'll like seeing that chain, especially when you get a few weeks under your belt. Your only job next is don't break the chain. Now, this is a really interesting phenomenon because it's so true. There are apps, there are all sorts of things that do this. I have found that it is best to have these things up on a wall somewhere physical rather than hidden away on a phone. Maybe you like the phone apps. More power to you. I'm just sharing my experience. But when you create this chain, and if you combine this tool with accountability, oh my days, if you go public with this, if you do this with a group of people who are building the same chain with you in the same way, and you commit to it publicly, you get that accountability. That doubles down on this. That strengthens it so much. And then when you are doing the thing, so in this case, when it comes to your creativity and writing music, you are following an effective and efficient creative process, you're going to get huge results. And by efficiency, we mean achieving more with less. So getting more done in less time. A lot of people struggle for time. They say, I don't have enough time. But we've proven it time and again that with a short amount of time, you can get a lot done. It comes down to what you're doing in the time more than how much time you've got. And that's what effective means as well. In that time, focusing on the actions that most move you forward to your version of success. The 80-20. 20% of things that get 80% of the results. And then working on that 20% in a really efficient manner. You get huge results. So you combine that with doing it every day, not breaking the chain, being held accountable in a public environment, doing it with a group of your peers. And now we can do this online. It's amazing. One of the powers of online, you get incredible results. Now, I don't expect you to take my word for it. Don't be a follower, be a student. Stack up the things that you learn. Stack up your experience. Stack up the evidence that is put in front of you and follow the things that resonate with you. So important. So I want to share some evidence with you on this point. I want to back this up because it is so powerful, and I want to share that with you. So I've grabbed just 3 posts from the FMM community, short and punchy for you, just to give you a real clear window into what you can achieve with this. So Araz, first up, 120 days of consecutive music making. I've missed one day, he said. I've completed 26 tracks since joining FMM 4 months ago. Compare that to my previous 15 half-baked tracks in the last 10 years. Just marry that up in your mind for a second. 26 tracks in 4 months versus 15 half-finished tracks in 10 years. Just by following what I'm sharing with you now. That's all. Okay? Nick Thistleton hit 100 consecutive days of writing music. That's not one day I've missed since I joined 3 months ago. I've finished 10 tracks in that time. That's more than I've finished in just over 3 months than in the previous 25 years. And then last but by no means least, Jonas, a special guest. Now Jonas, and this is super exciting, has just been nominated for Best Newcomer in his home of Denmark. Best Newcomer. How amazing is that? Releasing on some great labels. Here's what he said. 365 days of writing music as a member of FMM. Before FMM, I had only finished 2 tracks in 8 years. Today, I've finished more than 60 tracks in just 1 year, and I've got 4 EPs signed. So think about that again. Just figure that out. And it is really important. 2 tracks in 8 years versus 60 tracks and 4 signed EPs in 1 year. Now, I'm sharing this for a reason, and that is because it's so easy to get in our heads and say, no, but you don't understand. I suffer with this particular thing. I have this challenge in the studio that no one else has. I think about music in a way that no one else thinks about it. I've got perfectionism worse than anyone, procrastination worse than anyone. Now, what are you going to say? Like, I haven't been finishing music for 26 years, therefore it won't work for me because Nick was finishing it for 25. So I wanted to share this to really highlight that it isn't what's gone on before that is going to dictate your future. And I can summarize this for you in a couple of really beautiful quotes. This one from James Clear: "It doesn't matter how successful or unsuccessful you are right now. What matters is whether your habits are putting you on the path towards success. You should be more concerned with your current trajectory than with your current results." You should be more concerned with your current trajectory than with your current results. If you aren't getting anywhere with your music at the moment, maybe you have been struggling for years and years, just like the guys were, okay? That's okay. That does not have to dictate your future. Great quote. You can't rewrite the past, but you can grab a fresh sheet of paper and write the future. So you've just heard the results of people who are struggling just like you, and when you start doing what they are doing, you will start getting the results they are getting. It is not anywhere near as complicated as so many people out there will have you believe. Consistently follow a proven creative process, and very quickly you will scale your output, the quality of your music, scale your releases, and scale the impact you get to have on the scene that you love. It's there for the taking. It's yours for the taking. Don't let anybody get in your way. So, I hope you enjoyed that episode. I'd love to hear from you around this, around habits, what you've done, what hasn't been working for you in your music. Let me help you with that. Hit me up. Instagram. DM me at I am Keith Mills. What have you been struggling with, and what is it that you want to achieve? Let me know. I'd love to help you bridge that gap. So, show notes, finishmoremusic.com. The workshop is coming 21st of this month, but you can join the free Facebook group right now, finishmoremusic.com/workshop. Easy to remember. Just remember, workshop. Jobs are good 'un. Okay, so I hope that you found that useful. I hope something's resonated with you there, empowered you to be the best version of yourself and chase down your goals. All the best. Until next time, happy music making.